Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we'll be doing an updated tier list. So I know I haven't made one of these in a while, and since the last time we made this, there's been a bunch of changes, as well as the addition of 2 new heroes. Alright, so without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so for God tier we have Annie. I think God tier is self-explanatory. At this point I feel like Annie is never gonna get changed because it's been 3 seasons now. I mean 3 videos now, and I think that spans about 2 years since we've been asking for like the very minimum balances to her, and they haven't done those. She's still in the stage she's in. Absolutely crazy now with the passive she's been given, which makes it so she's the most accurate character in the game. And in addition to bullet time, it just works way too well to make it so it's just a hell right now. You really shouldn't be dealing with this ability at all. It just makes it so anybody can kill you. Takes the littlest effort at all to maximize the best out of bullet time. There's no skill cap to it. Just literally anyone that can press a button for that ability is basically given the win, unless they are the worst player in the world. And unfortunately for we the players that may have to deal with it playing other characters or even Annie herself, we can't tell when the bullet time is being used on us until we're dead. And now she's far more accurate too in addition, which is even worse. Alright, so for broken list, yep, the new champion is gonna be the first one on the broken list. She has way too many variations, and each variation is quite overpowered. I feel like the only quite balanced one are the tombstone transformation and the enemy highlight transformation. Those two are still really strong respectively, but I feel like these other two just overshine them too much. The teleportation as well as the movement one, those ones are just far too strong, and they really do need to reconsider some stuff. And also when she comes out of her ability, she stuns enemies as well, which is honestly not needed on her. It's just really crazy how her abilities all like work together. She does have a high skill ceiling, but with the base version of her, you can do so much with her. You really don't even need to be really that good to use her. That's why she is broken. Second one, Viper. Yeah, again, nothing has changed about this one too. Makes it so movement win gains is so easy. Literally anyone can do it. There is a difference in skill gap depending on the type of Viper players you find, but literally anyone who is half decent at this game, the single wall plays jump can make the most out of a gunfight. And in addition, now with her passives making it so she is the best gun expert with her faster reload and less recoil too. So yeah, and also she gets less bullet jump from getting hit from bullets, so she can pretty much stay consistent in most of her gunfights. For grade, our first hero in grade will be the other new champion, Helsing. So Helsing is basically the first champion to come with a built-in passive that works with rituals. So they work with Sun Eclipse to give him more toughness in bat form, and the Solar Flare give him more weakness in bat form. Also, when he's in bat form and he does damage, whatever damage he's dealing out, he takes 50% health from that damage. And in addition to that, his passives also make him one of the most accurate, as his aim cursor closes up faster. And the thing is, in this game, whenever your aim cursor opens up due to spinning around or having momentum, your shots are less accurate. And because he recovers it 50% faster now, it makes it so he really doesn't take a lot of time to recover, making it so he always engages fights with as less aim deviation as possible. It can be on par with Annie's, but I feel like Annie's is more direct and more easier to understand. But with Helsing, if you couple him with glasses, basically what that means, your aim cursor never opens up due to the glasses also cutting off 50%. So with glasses, this guy is always going to be pinpoint accurate, and that works really well with his ability, which allows him to fly. And with his downside being the aim opener and his passive cancelling, that it makes him basically almost flawless now. The only thing I feel like they really need to change about this guy is the sound. They need to make it so whenever he stops moving in bat form whilst using his ability, he still makes the bat sound, so at least you can tell whether he's floating over you or not, because that can lead to some pretty unreasonable advantages whilst playing Helsing. But the next one, and still the most perfect and well-rounded CRSED champion, Ocelot. Ocelot is still great. His passives aren't too good as they are mostly based around slight speed boost and stamina regulation, but it's fine. It works really well with the type of players that play him, which are the runners. The only thing I feel about that should really change about Ocelot is his cooldowns. It's way too short and it kind of leads to the ability being spammed, which isn't the best in my opinion. Although the ability floor has been fixed, the base cooldown is still really short, so sometimes you just keep tracking them when they are especially running from you is kind of sometimes hectic. So yeah, I feel like they should increase the cooldown on the ability, as well as all the ones above here too as well. And Clyde is now in a good spot as last season they increased his health and his health regeneration whilst in beast mode. So he's a lot tougher to kill now, and with the passives being not too great, I feel like the ability in itself is still quite good as it costs less and also has a very short cooldown, which I do believe needs to go down as well. Needs to go up. Alright, Katrina is still good, although she doesn't have, she was the one that really benefited from the ability floor from before, but now without it, she is in a good spot. She isn't bad and she isn't too overpowered, as now you can easily counter her with hexbags as well as silence ritual, and avoiding her isn't the most difficult thing to do in this game as she's pretty slow. So the best case scenario, if you feel like you're the best aimer in the world, you can go for headshots whilst her ability is on, or if you just want to play safe, just run around her till the ability ends. It's not an ability that's gonna pressure you into smacking your head into the wall like bullet time. And for the okay tier, which I feel like characters that are quite underwhelming and not too great, they're only okay because in this game you can basically play the entire game with Mystic Signs, and the ability in itself can be useful to some point, but not something that these other characters cannot offer, or you can't get a better version of that through using a ritual. So for the first one here, Thor is not in the best spot currently because I feel like his ability is quite underwhelming. Using it takes time because of the animation, and landing on a player with it isn't as rewarding as it should be. I feel like it should do damage and also stun them. Of all the characters in this game, the one that really needs to stun and deal damage with his passive as a passive aspect of his ability is Helsing, not Ava or even Katrina, but Thor. But unfortunately, he's in the state he's in, and for some reason some players still play him and think he's somewhat good. You're not killing any good player playing Thor, and that's the truth. Finally, in the last section for Huli. The only reason why Huli has dropped all the way here is because of the passives. In a season where every passive is changing and making everyone better, Huli is lacking. Her passives are the most worthless passives in comparison to her ability, because they do nothing for her ability and they just make her exposed to others who have better passives than her. They literally could have made passives to make her beast maybe do some form of slowdown or even increase their range, but they went for passives around making headbacks and carrying more loot, which doesn't make sense for someone who is supposed to be the hunter or the enemy alertness for her team. She really doesn't have the best passives for her ability, and that has dropped her all the way down to okay for me, because you can't get a better version of enemy vision with Ava's enemy vision ability. And the passives on Ava as well, actually, even though they are loot based, they do synergize well with her tombstone ability. I also do believe the speed the bees move needs to be increased, as they are kind of slow as compared to someone like Ava's, who's just instant. And yeah, really, they are really slow for the duration of the ability. They really need to move way faster in pinging enemies. Although they did add the enemy highlights on the map, the bees do need to be on the enemy for that, and that does cut down time on your cooldown, which isn't the best. Alright, so for our first and only legend in bad or broken is none other than Barco. Barco is bad because his ability doesn't give you his ability is on full auto most of the time. In fact, all the time. You don't get to control it. There's no sense of strong control on it. They can easily do that since there's the father game of Cursed is enlisted, and all these actions are already there, and they are based off the AI in that game as well. I don't know why they haven't decided to rework him and make him give him a wheel like ability like Avis, where he uses it to control them and even possess them at times. But unfortunately, this is the state it's in. He's only broken when you allow the AI to ramp up. What do I mean by this? In the game, I've played this game for about 2 years now, and I've realized that bots ramp up in their ability to kill by killing other players or other bots. So the more a bot stays alive and fights to kill, the more accurate it is in its other fights. If you do realize it at this point, you realize sometimes when you're fighting a bot that has immediately killed someone, immediately they flip around to you, they are gonna headshot you, or they are gonna hit all their shots. And that's the same with the Barco zombies. So if someone is playing around using their bots, their zombies to kill players, the next player they find, their zombies are gonna be far accurate on them. That's why sometimes you find yourself just instantly dying to Barco zombies, as they have been battle hardened by killing more players. That's why he is broken or bad depending on the type of player you are. So yeah, this wraps up my tier list for this season. I feel like if they don't change anything about Annie, I'm gonna drop this game at this point. There's only as I can only take this much cheese for this long, because at this point I'm not enjoying the surge of Annie players that are in every game I find myself in. And with the other characters that are broken as well, they can easily balance them too as well. Example, Ava needs less teleport duplicates, and every time she moves between objects they need to break. And also with the momentum movement ability, they shouldn't make it stack with your current momentum, which can make you fly around so far distances. And with the Viper, she just needs simple cooldowns on her subsequent jumps, so at least people can actually take their time to keep countering her when she makes a bad jump. And also I feel like with the sound she makes when she jumps is not enough. She needs to make a constant sound so players can pinpoint accuracy guess where exactly she is at, not just use the first sound, which doesn't last long at all and it's quite instant as well. And with these two, I think, oh yeah, I almost forgot, with this Thor's passives basically make him tankier when he's got armor on, and also the rest of the passives are centered around melee, making him the #1 melee player to play, as his melee is stronger and faster. Most of the time you find the melee players playing Ocelot, but I feel like when they decide to invest their time in Thor, they would be more rewarded for that, because Thor is the melee guy. I feel like they base his passives centered around the fact that he's a Viking. But yeah, that's about it, and I've already explained what I want them to do with Barco. So yeah, I hope some dev watches this, because I feel like the last one, the dev saw it and actually fixed the ability flaw. But yeah, we do need changes on these top 3 especially, and the bottom 3 as well. So everyone here is good, and maybe some slight changes around can be cool. But with God tier broken, okay, Battle broken, they do need to do some really good changes to these ones as well to make the game more centered. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Drop a like if you want to see more, and subscribe. I keep dropping content like this sometimes. See you guys in the next one.